Okay, cameras rolling, market.
This is Matt Ashby, A2 Media, 6.1 task, Chatback, take one.
Okay, so we're going to talk about a question that you've chosen to discuss in this chatback. But first of all, it's important for the context that we find out what you made for your A2 Media coursework.
So I made a music video and promotional material, such as a digipack and a magazine advert, all for the band Two Door Cinema Club, but based around their song What You Know.
Okay, great. Okay, so the question you've asked me to ask today is, how does your media product use, develop and challenge forms and conventions of real media products? So I'm going to take it away. If we want to, I think you want to break it up in use, develop, challenge, don't you?
Yeah.
So why don't you kick off and I'll pitch you when I need to.
So throughout the whole music video we had a selection of different material that made up the video. So we've got the band footage, so the live performance, and then we've got the narrative, but very unlinked to the band footage. Okay. So it's almost two videos happening in one, where the narrative is very much lyrics with the visuals. So Goodwin's theory. So first of all, using the forms and conventions, at the beginning we had the band logo and the song name appear straight away. That was accompanied by the shots of the band itself, which is very much the stereotypical boy band kind of thing, where you'd have everything very obvious and clear, with obviously all the band information. So that's demands of the record label. So you've got the logo, you've got the band itself, you've got everything.
Yeah.
Very tightly to the actual band. So that would be an example of using them. As well as that, throughout the whole video, we've cut, because it's quite an upbeat song, we've cut all of the shots in time with either the drums or the lyrics itself, or whatever. So everything's, although the song's very upbeat, we've made the music video very upbeat as well. So they go hand in hand really quite easily, which is also shown in a lot of a lot of boy band kind of happy videos, such as like OK Go, for example. They use lots of things like that, and One Direction. Things like that. Just
to pick up on that, like you're talking about the uplifting and the boy band thing, but we're talking about kind of a different genre, aren't we?
Yeah.
Those things are very common in pop boy band videos, like your One Directions, etc. But they're not this band, are they?
Yeah, so, obviously. But we just.
I know you're really gone to that, but I just want to
kind of reflect the whole idea of the song, make it the audience feel the song in the video.
Okay, that's fine.
That's what we also at the end we finished. So we started with the band logo and the band, and then we also finish with the band logo and the band. So it kind of sums up the whole video in one, like with the start and finish, but very clear alongside the image.
Quite a conventional technique as well. Yeah.
So, because it's quite a performance-based video, we had probably, I'd say about 60% of the video is actually of the band playing and lip-syncing. That relates to the 8th principle of Goodwin's theory, talking about actually having just heavy performance in it instead of just mixing and matching between all the narrative and other meanings.
Is Goodwin saying that is common in all videos?
He's not saying it's not in all videos. No, it's his last point he makes, but it's saying that they have them out there. That it's you need that in a video of this style because it's it's mixing with the band itself. Because
they're a rock band, right? So if you don't see it, it's odd for you not to.
Yeah, it'd be weird to just have a storyline based video instead of having the band in as well.
You talk about using conventions there. So do you want to move on to talking about developing?
Yeah, we'll come on to developing. So obviously for the narratives, we essentially took all of the lyrics and we tried to play on words as such and use the most obvious examples, but so obvious that you have to interpret it in a way.
Yeah.
So for example, we had for the lyrics, in a few weeks, we had a stop motion of a wall calendar with stickers marking off a day and going up and filling up 2 weeks worth and then coming back again. So obviously that took quite some time to film, but just after sticking them all on, it's as if no one's hands are there, and it's just 2 weeks in a few weeks. So it really, we just captured a few words in each lyric, and we just put that onto the visuals. We've got lots of examples like that throughout the whole thing. Other examples would be It's My Sweet Beginning. We've used a candy floss. Candy floss is obviously pure sugar. It's sweet sugar, you know, those kind of things. As well as that, we've also developed it as such where a recurring lyric is "You don't want to be alone." And at the beginning, we've got a boy standing there, unidentified. He's nothing related to the band, obviously, but he doesn't play a massive role, but he's just standing alone in different scenery shots, to obviously represent the lyrics. But then towards the end, we develop it by having him on a bench and using Final Cut. I edited 3 lots of him sitting on the bench, but then obviously cutting to the music, the other 2 of him fade away, so he's not alone as such because he's with other people, but the other people are himself. So it kind of, you know.
So ambiguous narratives and things that are like puzzles. For
you have to really
audiences
think about it in your head to get around it. But some of them are more obvious than others. Towards the end, they're more puzzling. You have to think about them a bit more than at the beginning. So it's easiest your way into the beginning.
Okay. All right.
And then
move on to challenging.
Yeah, challenging. So I've got a few examples of that. So as I said. The song with the sweet, with the candy floss, but it's My Sweet Beginning, but it's the candy floss dissolving into some water, so it's like juxtaposition with the lyrics, and it's almost taking whatever the lyrics say and flipping it, so having It's My Sweet Beginning, and then having sweet, you know, the sugar, dissolving and disappearing off the scene, so it's very much trying to flip the words towards the end, so instead of just taking whatever the lyrics say and just saying, you know, just showing what they say, just turn it on its head and, you know, make it a bit more interesting to watch, a bit more creative.
It feels like that's a challenge for music video convention. I can't think of that many videos that would do something as peculiar. I mean, you mentioned OK Go before, but even for them, like those, they're normally acting out in the videos. It's just an image, isn't it, of something happening which links to a lyric.
It's almost like taking the mick out of what's been happening. That there's so many, you know, generic boy band videos or, you know, rock band videos that are all just the same thing, and you got the visuals of the band, and then you got a narrative, and the narrative just links it. And it's taking it and almost taking the mick and just saying, actually, you know, look, there's different meanings.
It's quite literal things, but they're also quite thoughtful. They don't also then pop up. There's no, like you said earlier on, I quite like the phrase, there are 2 music videos happening at once. And there isn't any kind of. It would be very. Common, I think, for the band to all of a sudden have candy floss all over them.
It would ruin both sides of it by trying to combine them together instead. Just keep them separate at the same time.
I like that. That's a conscious decision.
Yeah, and also the establishing shots and some of the final shots are composed of things just such as we've got a butterfly, we've got a frog, and just different things that are like they're visually and aesthetically pleasing to look at, but they're not anything. Well. At the beginning and the end, there's no actual lyrics. It's just the band, but it's just, you know, the band playing the music. But there's no lyrics to link it with, and you can't. We didn't want to just put the band playing the guitar. That just makes the band too much with the whole video. So instead, we added those bits into. They don't link in with the narrative as such because there isn't one, and we don't link it in with the band. It's more of just like a visually pleasing thing, which was part of Richard Dye's, part of Richard Dye's theory. It does not follow any of Richard Dye's theory at all because it doesn't involve the band in any way, shape or form.
Obviously, there's those parts about Dye where you do have the band performing.
Yeah, we have.
But in those other bits, there is no kind of construction of the star, if you like. It's just the brand.
No. And with the Richard Dye, I would say that they're not really. They don't really fall into much of a category at all because they're not being constructed to. They're not shown as some big fancy band. They're in a small studio. They're just doing their own thing. But then they haven't been given like a personality as such because it's almost like just a small scale band, like taking the band as being a big band and putting it back to like where they were beginning, where they're starting. So it doesn't. None of their rules really apply directly to the band.
Okay.
But
all right. Have you got anything else you want to say about the forms and conventions at all? I mean, I'm asking that at the end of every Chatback just to make sure that students cover everything they think they want to cover.
No, I would say, back to the link of the palm tree, the butterfly and the frog, those we should think. You could take it literally and link it in with the band because they're quite a modern they're always changing their appearance. They're always keeping up to date. So by having something that's just visually, aesthetic, just to look at and looks nice, that's almost what they're doing. Is they're keeping up to date with what their audience want to see. So they
fashion trends.
So it's almost as a fashion statement of the video. So
cool, good. All right. Well, if you're done, pick up the clapperboard, give it a big snap, and say cut, and we're done.